Myles Garrett has just doubled down on his trade request out of Cleveland. He has no interest in negotiating a new deal with this franchise. And yet, the Browns stupidly refused to trade him. And why this is a stupid move on the behalf of Cleveland is, for one, the longer you hold on to Myles Garrett, the less trade value he has. If you trade him right now, you can get a mega haul of 2, 3 first-round picks and a few second, third rounders to help get your rebuild going fast. And then if Denzel Ward holds true to his word and he wants to get traded, if Myles Garrett is out, then you can get another first-round pick in return for a guy like a Denzel Ward. You could flip Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, and come away with 4 first-round picks. That's more than enough to catapult your rebuild. And all you're doing by holding on to Myles Garrett is by delaying the inevitable. Even if you have Myles Garrett for the foreseeable future, with your cap situation, how bad of a deal you gave Deshaun Watson has severely put a lot of the handicaps on what you can do in free agency, who you can go after. There's no way in hell the Browns are going to be capable of assembling a team that's going to be competitive enough to even win 7-8 games with how stacked the AFC North is. I mean, we know what the Steelers are despite the questions that they have at quarterback. Mike Tomlin's at least going to get them to 9 wins, but the Ravens only continue to get better every offseason. And the Bengals, we know with them missing out on the playoffs last year, they're going to have a lot of motivation to get back to the postseason this year, and they definitely are going to be very active and trying to make things happen in free agency, although they do have to lock up 3 of their best players to long-term deals. You know, the Browns right now, you don't have any leverage against Myles Garrett. If he sits out, you're going to be significantly worse, and you're just letting your greatest asset depreciate. Trading Myles Garrett makes you a better team in the long term due to the capital you're going to get back for him. One player can turn into 4 high-caliber players if the Cleveland Browns go about this right. You could come away with 3, 4 high-end starters trading away Myles Garrett. Look at what the Houston Texans were able to turn that Deshaun Watson trade into. I hate to keep giving you Browns fans PTSD. I know you want to move on from Deshaun Watson, but this Deshaun Watson trade is the equivalent to making a deal with the devil. When you first saw Deshaun Watson on the trade market, you believed that he was the missing piece to finally getting you into Super Bowl contention. So you move on from Baker Mayfield, you bring him in, you give him $250 million fully guaranteed, and you thought you were still getting an elite quarterback. And all you've gotten is not only one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL during his span in Cleveland, but you got somebody that tanked the trajectory of your franchise. You went from being on the cusp of being a Super Bowl contender to getting Deshaun Watson and reverting back to what you've been for so many years. One of the worst ran franchises in the league. And this refusal to trade Myles Garrett further proves why the Browns have been what they've been for so many years. Me and a lot of you all watching have been. So for Cleveland, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to keep holding on to Myles Garrett. The guy wants out. You can get so much in return for him. Sitting out isn't doing anything but hurting you, because if he sits out and then eventually you're ready to move on, instead of getting 3, 4 first-round picks for him, you only get 1 or 2, and you cut yourself short. And that's what the Browns continue to do with the passing days that they don't trade Myles Garrett.